Hi, I'm Steve Ray. We're here today with another episode of Park Bench Pittsfield from our downtown Pittsfield office. And today I'm here with Darlynn Viner from Republic State Mortgage.
Hi,
Thanks
Steve.
for coming in today, Darlynn. Now,
Thank
Darlynn,
you.
Republic State Mortgage,
Yes.
new?
Yes, it is new. Well, new in Berkshire County. It's not new in other areas of the state. We do have a branch in Peabody, Mass. It's been there for about 10 years.
And what's your role here?
My role is I am a branch manager, loan officer in the Berkshire County area.
So, loan officer, loan originator, you had a history of doing that. How'd you get into this business?
I started in the business in 1996. When I had moved to Boston, I was looking for work. So I went to a temporary agency and they placed me in a bank called Wainwright Bank and Trust in the downtown Boston. And I started as a processor, which processor in this business is someone who puts all the paperwork together and does some preliminary work, and then they shift the loan into underwriting. I was only there for a few weeks and I had an opportunity to start underwriting, so I took it upon myself to learn as much as I could about underwriting, and I went to New England School of Banking and I took the classes and I received all the certificates to be an actual underwriter. The bank had 12 branches and I was the only underwriter at the time. I did get a promotion within about 6-month time frame, permanently employed at the bank. And I got a promotion as a underwriter. And what I did was spent a lot of time on the phone with customers that didn't understand mortgage programs. They didn't know how to fill out a mortgage application. And this bank didn't have any residential loan officers that actually went out and sat with customers and explained to customers what type of product they were getting, what they had to do, what paperwork was needed. So I ended up spending it as an underwriter more time sitting in front of customers, which isn't what an underwriter traditionally does. So the bank made a decision where they wanted to give it a try and they wanted to promote me to a residential loan officer. So for 10 years in Boston, I worked as a residential loan officer, traveling on the T from branch to branch to branch all over the Boston area, and decided that I would much rather meet with the customers, explain everything, walk them through the process, find the right program for them, than sit behind a desk and just say yes or no to a loan.
Well, that must have gave you a pretty good skill set and a wide understanding of the process that you do today, huh?
It did. It
So
gave
you got
me
the back end
exactly,
of it,
exactly,
what happens, so you know what needs to be done in the beginning
exactly.
because you've experienced it.
Well, I tend to look at the loans from both views, from the loan officer view, wanting to get the best product for my client, put my client to the best rate, get them through the process. But what I look at things a little bit differently, because I know from being an underwriter, I know the guidelines, I know what paperwork is needed. When I view a bank statement, say for example, you don't just take a bank statement and pass it into underwriting, because there might be things in that bank statement that, like large deposits or something you need to address as a loan officer or before it gets to the underwriter. So I tend to hedge off a lot of issues, a lot of problems that could arise, because I know what the underwriter is going to do
Sure.
when they see a certain thing, a certain discrepancy in the bank statement or something on the pay stub, and can address it rather than have it addressed throughout the process.
So, you're back in Pittsfield for all these years. What do you do in your off time?
I don't have a lot of off time, but in my off time, I like to exercise. I like to be out in the fresh air. My favorite things are nature, and you'll find me a lot of times running. I live in an awesome area. It couldn't be a better place to just go for a run. I go for a lot of walks. I love to hike.
Well, I see you putting in sometimes, it looks like a few miles on William Street out
Yes.
there. So when you're out there running, are you thinking of work or you're forgetting work?
It really depends on the day. Some days I get up in the morning and I'm like, I'm going to put a business podcast in, and I'm just going to listen to this podcast as I run, and that's enough to get the run through. If I run at the end of the day, it's to forget about work, and it's put the fast music on and just go.
So what do you do? What else you do in Pittsfield? What do you like to do?
I love to go to the theater. I love to go to Tanglewood. I just like to go and find something that I love to explore. So I like to go and find different things every weekend that I have not visited. Like I've gone to the Norman Rockwell Museum, gone to Mass MoCA, but I go all over. Even if it's just to take a ride down through Sheffield or Egremont, just to see something that I haven't seen and just to get to know the area a little bit better. Just to spend time enjoying the summer and the nice weather. I love to try new restaurants.
Great. So in your line of work, a lot of years now, 23.
23, yes.
I'm sure you've had some pretty unusual requests.
Yes, I have.
Anything memorable that sticks out in your mind?
I would say that, as a loan officer, your job is to educate your client. And I thought I did that pretty well. And I had a woman call me one day and say, I don't understand this. My electricity is off. My cable's off. My telephone is off. I'm on my cell phone and they're threatening to shut it off. I thought that was all included in my mortgage payment. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe I need to be a little bit more specific sometimes, and take and explain what I mean by what's included in your mortgage payment.
Oh, that's great. So, from the time you left Pittsfield, because you grew up here,
I grew up here, yeah.
till the time you come back, what's changed for you? What's changed for here?
I would say that it just seems to have expanded. It seems that, there's more cultural events than there ever were.
No question.
There's a sense of community. I see people pulling together, doing things for other people that are having maybe a fire, and people get together and they help the people that just had the fire, that lost everything. I see more of a sense of caring about the community than before I left.
Oh, that's great. Now, maybe talk to me a little bit about something that people would know about Darlynn Viner.
I was the only girl. I have 4 younger brothers. There are 5 of us, and there's only 7 years between us. So we were a very close family. However, I grew up pretty much taking care of them, but we grew up taking care of farm animals out at Shaker Village, and we had a huge farm. So I have the muscles from the haying. I used to be able to shear sheep. I used to be able to weave to make yarn. I traveled all over the United States showing sheep. I actually was what they call the National Corridale Queen my senior year of high school.
Really?
I won many awards, and what I did was travel all over for 4-H, and I did win quite a few national awards. I saw a lot of the United States.
4-H is a great organization.
Yes, it is.
And it teaches you a lot more than just about animals.
Yes, it did.
And I'm sure some of your skills of being able to talk to people today probably came from 4-H.
It did.
Do you get out to the village much?
I do. It's one of my favorite places. I have a lot of fond memories.
Right. And they've really ramped it up out there.
Yes.
With the animals. Back again to the days like
Yes.
when you were there.
Well, we had everything you could think of. We had rabbits, we had chickens, we had milking cows, we had beef cows, we had pigs. So it was a full farm. I probably myself owned over 150 sheep.
Wow.
And that meant, a strong work ethic. It isn't like you just have sheep and you let them graze in the field and that's all there is to do to take care of them. You have to, you have to make sure that they have their shots. You have to make sure that they're shorn twice a year. You have to make sure that their hoofs are trimmed. And those are all things that, I learned to do. And as a girl, you would see me out there wrestling a 150-pound ram, trimming their hooves.
Anything else that you can tell us about Republic State Mortgage? How long have they been in business again?
They've been in business since 1994.
1994.
And they're based out of Houston, Texas. They're very people-orientated, relationship-orientated business. Relationships and the client experience means everything to them. So they do everything they can to make purchasing a home pleasant for all involved in the transaction, both realtors listing and selling, the clients, the attorneys. It's a group process, and a very tight-knit group makes sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible.
Well, with that philosophy and your skill set and experience, I'm sure you guys are going to do well in Pittsfield. Thanks for coming, and again, check us out on Park Bench, Republic State Mortgage, Darlynn Viner.